going to do a short little video on how to make a pressing surface. I've found in the 10 years that I've been teaching quilting that the majority of the problems people have with their quilting is that they don't have the proper pressing surfaces. They'll be working on the kind that have foam in it or real soft or just not firm enough. Whatever it is that you're using, you need to remember that you need a pressing surface that is hard and it also grips, and it makes a huge difference. If you've ever sewn a triangle and know that you've cut that triangle absolutely perfect, and then when you pressed it, it winged out at the seam. The reason for that is the pressing surface, and it's very important to have the proper pressing surface. So we're actually going to make one for you so you can see how that works. The first thing that you need is a product called OSB board, and you get that at any local hardware store, and it is kind of like a particle board, but it has fiber in it. And you need to make sure that you get the right size cut for you, and only use that. The chemicals that are used to actually produce this board are safe. It's the same kind of board that they put in homes, so it has to be safe for you, so you know that it's going to be safe for pressing. You need 100% cotton canvas, and it's really important to have the cotton canvas. You don't want anything with polyester in it, only cotton. You need 100% cotton batting, and I use Warm and Natural, so make sure that it's 100% cotton. I find that if anyone's going to make a mistake, they will put any kind of batting in their pressing surface. And if it has any polyester in it or a high loft, you're defeating the whole purpose. So make sure you use 100% cotton batting. And we have a little piece of is a fusible felt for the back to help on keeping the back, nice and finished. You also want to use a staple gun, and we have some spray adhesive. And of course, a good sharp pair of scissors. Okay, we want to start with our OSB board, and it has a smooth side. Let me turn this over so you can see it. This is a smooth side. Now we want that to be on the bottom, and it has a rough side, and we want that to be on the top. When we put our rough side up, and you want to put your cotton on top. Now you can trim the cotton to fit exactly. I like a little bit of an overlap so the edges are rounded, but you can trim it exactly if you'd like. So we're going to go ahead and put this on there. We kind of mat it down, and the reason that we have the rough side up is that it'll hold on to the cotton. So that's really important. And then we want to very, very lightly spray the top of the cotton with a little bit of spray adhesive. And let's set that aside. We're going to place our canvas down. Now when you cut your canvas out, you want to cut it out with about 3 inches, about 3 inches bigger than the actual board. So it's 3 inches bigger all the way around in the board. And press down on that. And you can realign the board if you want at this point in time. Now I've made boards all different sizes. I actually have these folding tables that you can get at Costco are completely covered. I have one in my studio that's completely covered with a pressing surface, so I can press my borders or whatever I need to in a large format. So what we want to do is we want to start by pulling the canvas up, and we want to just staple it right in the center. And we want to go clear across. Now I very gently pull on the canvas and go clear across and staple it in the center. Now we want to turn the board this way and repeat that same process of getting the centers stapled down. And repeat that same process on this side. Now if your staples kind of lift up, you can pound them with a hammer later. When you're doing the corners, you want to take the corner and pull it really tight and staple that down. and you want to push all this excess up underneath, just like that, and it'll create one fold like this. Make sure it's nice and flat. Staple that down. And repeat that same process on this side. And that's how you turn those corners back. Now you do want your corners to be rounded. It's really important to have that so that it won't wear out on the corner. And you want to repeat that same process on all of the other corners. At this point, it's all stapled down, and you might want to take a hammer and make sure that all the staples are down good and solid. And what you're going to do next is put a piece of felt, finish it on the back side. Now this is a fusible felt, so you can just heat set that to your piece, to your board, and you're off and running. If you don't have fusible felt, you can glue the felt to the back of your board. So after everything's been done and you've fused the felt to the back of the board, you want to take a spray bottle full of water, and we want to spray the canvas until it's wet. And that will make the canvas shrink around the board. And then you just let it dry overnight, and it's ready to go. Now, if you get the pressing board dirty, you can just recover the top with another piece of canvas. And I have had some of my students that make a small pillowcase. Now you want to wash the canvas first. Make sure that it is totally shrunk before you make the pillowcase for your pressing board, and then make the pillowcase and make it real stiff or real tight so that when you press it won't shift. And that way you can take the case off and wash it and then put it back on. And that works really well too. Now I've also used this technique on TV trays. Now if those TV trays are available at any convenience, or I shouldn't say convenience store, Walmart or Target, for about $10. And then you do the same process on the TV tray. Then you have a table that you can take to classes or actually use at home that can be moved wherever you need it to be. So it makes a huge difference in all of your work to have a hard pressing surface that's convenient and easy to get to. We're going to do a short little video on how to make a pressing surface. I've found in the 10 years that I've been teaching quilting that the majority of the problems people have with their quilting is that they don't have the proper pressing surfaces. They'll be working on the kind that have foam in it, or real soft, or just not firm enough. Whatever it is that you're using, you need to remember that you need a pressing surface that is hard and it also grips. And it